Anna was tired, so very tired. The day had been incredibly long and arduous. She just wanted to get home to her cozy flat. The station seemed unusually quiet, almost deserted. Her train, of course, was running late again. Click, clack. The distinct sound of her heels echoed on the empty platform. She shivered slightly, pulling her scarf tighter. It was a surprisingly chilly night for the middle of May, she thought. Finally, with a loud hiss of its brakes, the train arrived. It looked rather old, perhaps a relic from a bygone era. Very old indeed, with faded paint and grimy windows. She climbed aboard the nearest carriage. Most of the compartments were already full of sleepy commuters, but she managed to find one right at the very end of the train. It was completely empty, much to her relief. Perfect, she whispered to herself with a small smile. She could finally relax and unwind after such a stressful day. She slid the heavy compartment door shut with some effort. It made a dull, resonant thud as it closed. She gratefully sank into the warm, plush seat. It was surprisingly comfortable, despite its aged appearance. She gazed out of the window for a moment. The bright platform lights began to slide away into the distance. Darkness rushed in to replace them, swallowing the view. The train began to move, slowly at first, with a groan. Then it gathered speed, faster and faster into the night. The rhythmic, hypnotic sound of the wheels on the tracks was rather soothing. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. It was a familiar sound. Anna leaned her head back against the seatrest. She closed her weary eyes. Just for a moment, she promised herself, just a little rest. The compartment felt warm, almost too warm now. She felt a strange, unexpected sense of deep peace wash over her. But was it truly peace, or something else entirely? Something more sinister? Anna opened her eyes with a sudden jolt. What was that peculiar sound? A faint noise, perhaps? She wasn't entirely sure what had woken her. She quickly looked around the small compartment. Everything appeared to be normal, just as she had left it. The single dim light above her flickered slightly, casting dancing shadows. Or was that just her tired imagination playing tricks on her? She peered intently at her own reflection in the dark, grimy window. Just her own tired face stared back. Or was it? For a fleeting, horrifying split second, she thought she saw another face, hovering there, just behind hers in the glass. It was pale, terribly pale, with wide, dark, empty eyes. She blinked hard, her heart pounding. It was gone in an instant, just the inky blackness of the countryside rushing past outside. Silly girl, she muttered under her breath, trying to reassure herself. You're just exhausted seeing things. But her heart was still beating much faster now. Thump, 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 like a frantic drum inside her chest. Then she definitely heard it. A whisper, so soft, so faint, like the sound of dry leaves rustling across a forgotten floor. It seemed to emanate from somewhere inside the compartment itself. Anna. It breathed. Her name. Chills ran down her spine. How could anyone or anything know her name here? She was completely alone in this compartment, wasn't she? She held her breath, straining her ears, listening intently. Dead silence followed, thick and unnerving. Suddenly, the air in the compartment grew cold, noticeably, bitingly cold. An icy chill permeated the small space. A shiver ran down her spine, sharp and unpleasant. This was not a normal shiver from a draft. This was deep, penetrating, bone-chillingly cold. Goosebumps erupted all over her arms and the back of her neck. She pulled her thick coat tighter around herself. But the intense cold seeped through the fabric. It felt like the depths of winter, not a mild spring night. What on earth was happening? The old train swayed precariously on the tracks. The lights flickered again, more violently this time. Then they stayed dim, casting long, eerie shadows. Very dim indeed, making it hard to see clearly. The shadows danced and writhed in the corners of the compartment. Anna felt a strange prickling sensation on the back of her neck, as if tiny needles were pressing into her skin, like someone was watching her intently, very, very closely. She had an overwhelming urge not to turn around, but she knew she had to. Slowly, oh so slowly, she forced herself to turn her head. Her breath hitched painfully in her throat. Her eyes widened in disbelief and terror. There was someone there, or something, sitting quietly in the opposite corner of the compartment. A dark figure, draped in heavy, concealing shadows. It definitely hadn't been there before this moment. She was absolutely certain of it. Her blood seemed to run cold in her veins, colder even than the unnatural air around her. The figure remained perfectly still, utterly silent. but Anna could feel its unseen eyes, burning into her, through her. She tried desperately to speak, to shout, to scream for help, but no sound came out of her dry mouth. Her voice was trapped deep inside her. Fear held her in its icy grip, tight and unyielding, like an iron band constricting her chest, making it hard to breathe. Who was it? Or rather, what was it, and what did it want from her? Then the shadowy figure moved. It leaned forward slightly, just a fraction. A pale, slender hand emerged slowly from the depths of the shadows. The fingers were long, unnaturally long and thin. They seemed to beckon her closer, invitingly. A soft, raspy, whispering voice filled the chilling compartment. "You shouldn't be here," it whispered, the sound like sandpaper. "This is my seat. This is my journey." The voice was not human. It was ancient and cold. The train whistle shrieked loudly into the darkness, a long, mournful, haunting sound. It echoed eerily through the desolate, dark night outside. Anna stared, mesmerized with terror at the figure. Its eyes began to glow faintly in the gloom, a deep, disturbing red. Like hot, burning coals in the shadowy face, she wanted to run, to scream and escape this nightmare. But her legs felt like heavy lead. She was utterly frozen to the spot, petrified with abject fear. The figure rose slowly, gracefully from its seat. It was tall, impossibly tall, taller than any ordinary man. It glided towards her across the narrow compartment floor. There were no footsteps, just a silent, chilling, inexorable movement. "It is time to go now," the raspy voice repeated, closer this time, much closer. Anna could smell something awful, the cloying scent of damp earth and the unmistakable stench of decay. She squeezed her eyes shut tightly, bracing for the inevitable. A few minutes later, the cheerful train conductor walked briskly down the aisle. "Tickets, please. Last call for all tickets," he called out. He was a portly man with a kind face, humming a little tune to himself as he worked. He reached the very last compartment at the end of the carriage. He slid open the door with a practiced movement. "Hello there," he called out into the dimness. The compartment was empty, or so it seemed at first glance. He frowned slightly, puzzled. On the worn seat, he saw a single small woolen glove. A woman's glove by the look of it, and on the grimy window pane, a strange, inexplicable frosty patch, as if someone very cold had breathed there for a long, long time, in the bitter cold. He shrugged his shoulders. Passengers, always leaving things behind on the trains. The trains sped on through the darkness. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. But Anna was no longer on it. She was gone, forever.